Okay, so I'm doing the thing that a lot of people have accused without a box of Kleenex of doing. I am adjusting my hairband and my hair as I'm coming in because I haven't bothered to look at the mirror this morning. We are having one hell of a time here in Costa Rica this morning. I got to talk about that a little bit because it kind of sort of plays into what's going on right now in the community that I want to talk about. First, I want to say very, very plainly, I'm Suzanne Titkemeyer. For 10 years, I wrote for Pathos, nearly 10 years, column called No Longer Quivering, about the quiverful movement and evangelicalism and all kinds of just hijinks in religion. Okay. Do the YouTubey things if you'd like. I'd appreciate it. These are just my opinions. As Renell Smith says, do your research. Figure out who's lying and who isn't lying in this community. Don't bully, buddy. Not even without a box of Kleenex. Don't bully her. And don't be rude to each other. And I thank you for watching. I have to remind myself to do this shit every time because I'm not good about this. I'm just too ADD all over the place. I can't even remember to schedule times. Okay, so yesterday we went to all the new car shops and looked at new cars, and we're still sorting that out. This morning, I hope it's not a harbinger for the rest of the week or even the rest of the day. My husband he made a bunch of phone calls this morning to the mechanic, to the plumber, to a bunch of other people, because we've got some work we need done around the house. We've got to buy that car in the next week. So we got a lot of stuff going on. He said, I'm getting in the pool. And I said, fine. I'm trying to wake up here. So I'm trying to wake up here. I'm looking at people's different things on Twitter, including all this mess I'm getting ready to talk about. And I'm still so dinged out. I'm reading Dollar Tree as doll art re on somebody's post and look around. I need more caffeine. When the phone rings, it rings and rings and rings. I try to pick it up. It's the mechanic. I can't get to it in time. It rings 2 or 3 times. All of a sudden I hear honking and screeching out there. Hola, hola. So, so I clicked the remote to open the gate to let him out, not even thinking my husband is in the back in the pool swimming, buck ass naked. And I come say, hey, Warner's here. He says, oh my God, I'm naked. I'm naked. I'm naked. I'm naked. I'm like, go get my swimsuit. So I'm running around like a lunatic trying to get the swimsuit. And Warner's through the gate. So my husband had to don his swimsuit underwater. And it's like, lost remote for the gate, just all kinds of stuff going on. It's like, somebody, Calgon, please take me away. This is not what I signed up for. Okay, so this morning, especially, I noticed this. People are really fighting over Aaron EKC People Suck. 2 years ago, roughly, Aaron obtained through the Freedom of Information Act a copy of the police report from Katie Joy's supposed sexual assault. You know, the one where she told the police she was upset that he didn't leave his phone number after they had delicious sexy times. And apparently she was inebriated when those sexy times happened, which in the realm of consent, you really can't give legal consent to have sexy times if you're impaired. So I'm going to line up a little bit with KJ here and say, you know, if you're kind of wasted, you can't really give legal consent. Even though it was stupid of her to say, he didn't leave his number afterwards. It sounds like a drunken booty call is what it sounded like from here. Hey, Sandy. So, long story short, who is this driving up in my yard? Long story short, Erin read the documents. She read them aloud on her channel. Far be it for me to tell another creator what they can and cannot put on their channels. I'm not going to do that. I would never do that. Why? Because everybody has to make that decision as a creator. Where is their line? What are they going to show? And while that may not have been my choice, that was Erin's choice. And as a creator, she could make that choice. And you can either disagree or agree with it. If you disagree, you don't subscribe, you don't visit her. That's basically what it boils down to. Hey, Karma Kid. So that's just where we are, I think. And what's happened in the community is he didn't leave his number. So he assaulted her. True, you can't consent if you're intoxicated, but she wanted him to leave his number. Yeah, Kim, it's one of those places where there's all kinds of, okay, he's leaving now. There's all kinds of squishy gray lines. I mean, what was that stupid Robin Thicke song, Blurred Lines? Sometimes those lines are really blurred. And we as a society are trying to figure out where the lines are and where they are. It's interpretation, exactly. Interpretation. So we're trying to figure out where those lines are in life. And I don't have the answers. I've never claimed to have the answers to where any of that is. It doesn't sound like a sexual assault for me, but at the same time, you can't give consent if you're intoxicated. You can't give consent. You just cannot. So I don't know. And again, that's Erin's choice. It's not my choice. I'm not going to say anything negative about her for making that choice. Every creator decides what they're going to do, how they're going to handle their various things. It's not something that I would do personally, but that's just me. I have different rules for myself than Erin has for herself, and that's okay too. But one of the things that has really disturbed me about the Kateraid community, the what I always call Pitchfork Nation now, because it is kind of true. We are kind of after her with pitchforks sometimes, is the infighting and the people saying, no, you're wrong. No, I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm righteous. The things. It's gotten stupid out there. I mean, if you see somebody doing something that you don't like and you're not really involved in it, don't insert yourself. Don't say, oh, blah, 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 blah. We have to take pitchforks after that person. That's just silly. All creators have the right to do and say what they're going to do on their channel. And if they're doing stuff like without a box of Kleenex, without that box of Kleenex, then what's going to happen is the market is going to take her out. I mean, how many lawsuits is she involved in right now? A large number. I'm thinking that at the end of this, she will lose her social media. And at that point, the adjustment will have been made. And it won't be anything that we've done. I think we have to be careful not to insert ourselves into these situations because it really did a number on the Kathy Westbrook lawsuit. It just did. Because there were people that were uninvolved inserting themselves and giving fake declarations and others talking and sending crap to Michael Sauls, and it just didn't make it easy. What did Shady Goy do now? She hasn't done anything that I've seen lately beyond her usual circle of chaos. I'm conflicted as KJ is wrong 100%, but I also think she has mental health issues. Exactly. Also, she won't stop with her crap. She's still self-destructing. I agree, Kim. And I don't know that we need to be poking that particular badger with a sharp, sharp spoon every single day. And I'm guilty. I admit I'm as guilty as everybody else. I've poked her. I've called her slipping chinny and made remarks about her appearance. And it's wrong. I know that. Her behavior is the thing that I mostly take the offense with. And it's just too easy to join the Pitchfork Nation aspect of it. It's like watching a little theater type production of Beauty and the Beast recently, where they were all had their flaming torches like, kill the beast, kill the beast. Sometimes we get like that in the Katie Joy Kateraid community. I hate that people are speculating on why some have lost interest in KJ. It's gotten boring, and there are bigger things I'm interested in watching than KJ's ever moved. Kiki Ray, exactly. I'm kind of bored with a lot of this. Boundaries, absolutely. So I've gotten kind of bored with the community because it's just the same old, which is why I'm talking about parrots and politics and everything but her. I might like a few things, but I rarely say anything about her anymore because I just don't care. It's so easy to pick on her because she's so destructive, but she has to have issues, in my humble opinion. I think we'll all want her to stop. Kim, yeah, and I think that Emily D. Baker has had the right way to handle it, which she addressed her once or twice and then moved on. The dogs may bark, but the caravan moves on. And look what's happened with Emily. Emily has gone to like more than a 500,000 subscribers during the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. I've always had more issues with the arguments people use to go after her, even when I do agree she's in the wrong. We'd never think some of those were okay if it weren't being said about Katie. Melissa, exactly, exactly. I'm having some trouble with that too. And I've always kind of cringed over some of it because at one point I was friendly with her because of Pathos. And she would tell me these horrific, horrific, horrific tales of people harassing her. Some of those I have screen caps up on my blog because she was telling 2 or 3 different tales about Steve McRae as well. And Steve McRae, like him or loathe him, is part of the community. And he's been actually financially hurt by her. So he actually has a lawsuit and he's suing her right now. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Shaila's messy art. And nobody. Ignoring her is probably the kindest thing to do. Cluster B personality disorder, my humble opinion. That's my cue to keep a distance from anyone with those patterns. Prairie, I was thinking it might be some sort of narcissism going on. And I was going to say, treat her like I treat my narcissistic family member. I stay away from her. I say almost nothing to her. If she comes around me and tries to engage me in conversation, it's like, I'm doing fine. How are you doing? Very little information being handed out because you don't want to give them ammo. And you definitely don't want to feed the narcissist. You don't want to give them the attention they're seeking. And I've seen this person go through some extremes through the years to try and get the attention on them in every situation. My mother-in-law's funeral. Look at me. I'm an attention H, a WHORE. Um, family weddings. Look at me. Family reunions. Look at me. And it just gets old. And I think that that's what we're seeing here. But so many people have tried to help her, also telling her to stop openly. Blocked was the answer. Exactly. And that's why I have her blocked on every media there is. I've always had her blocked. Hey, Charlotte, I've missed you so much. I wonder how you're doing. And particularly since you don't speak on Twitter much anymore. And I can get that after seeing a whole lot of it. Can't get any better than blocked. Exactly. Stay the hell away. Kim, I don't have a narcissistic mother, but I have a narcissistic family member that I avoid like the literal plague because every family event turns into an opportunity for her to attention whore, and it becomes very, very tiresome after a while. I felt bad for to Derek. She really goes for the jugular, though she does. AA Big Book says to treat sick people like a person with a cold. We wouldn't be cruel to anyone for having a cold, but we would also know if we get exposed, we'd also get sick. Prairie, exactly. That's how we have to treat this, I think. Avoid and cut off all contact. It's not healthy. Oh, you're posting a fish piece today. Good. I'm glad to say I haven't been able to do any art lately, and I'm flying out a week from today to my daughter's wedding, so it's not going to be much art time going on. Hey, Michelle. So this morning, they're all fighting over Aaron doing, hey, Megan, they're all fighting over it. And I'm kind of like, really? And so about a month ago, I started blocking some people and unfriending a lot of people and just muting a bunch because I just don't have the energy to deal with this. Thank you so much, Prairie and Kiki. I think it'll be beautiful. My daughter is incredibly nervous right now because we're down to the wire here and she's freaking out. And I'm freaking out because I'm trying to buy a car here because I need the car to get to the airport and to get back from the airport. And so it's crunch time for all of us right now, and very, very, not a very, very good time for anyone. I have a come apart hot water tank that I'm having to continually clean up after, even with the water off to it. I have a leaking faucet. We've got a leaking pipe outside, like 2 or 3 different things. So we're like running around like crazy right now. The wedding is exciting, yes. And it kind of broke my heart that I had to stay here while they were planning this whole thing. But it's probably better because my mother made my wedding miserable. So I don't want to be that mother that makes any of this miserable at all. I just want to support the bride and the groom and move on. And I kind of think that with Katie Joy, we have to realize something's not right there. So something going on with her that is absolutely not right. She needs help. She really does. And I don't think that this is worth getting that agitated about. I think we have to take the Emily D. Baker approach, address it once and move on. Move on, move on. Breathe in, breathe out, move on. My favorite Jimmy Buffett song, it has to do with the Hurricane Katrina, which came through New Orleans and devastated many of my family's homes. It crushed my family in Louisiana pretty hard. So whenever I hit hard patches in my life, I think of that song and I listen to it. Breathe in, breathe out, move on. Look at your watch. The time is now. I mean, that's really all you can do. I also think the fact that it's beginning to appear like a witch hunt means that valid criticism given to Katie isn't taken seriously anymore. Not that it ever was. Absolutely, Melissa. And everyone lives differently, but damn, have empathy. Exactly, exactly. A sick person. She didn't ask to be that way. Compassionate detachment. She does need to lose her platforms, but I think that's going to happen through the lawsuits. And I think that we need to not interfere with any of that. And I think there's been significant interference in the first one that has negatively affected it, I think, and made settlement happen a lot quicker. So we just need to do like you do if you saw somebody, like, I like to use the analogy, if you saw your neighbor who's a senior citizen suddenly take off their clothes and start dancing the hula in the middle of the local intersection, you might call social services once or twice or the police and say, hey, can you deal with that? Or a relative. But if they keep doing it every single day, you just smile and move on. You don't keep inserting yourself. You don't say, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, look at that, look at that, look at that every single day. You just breathe in, breathe out, move on. You do what you can, and then you move on. And I think that my pediatrician says that natural consequences teach the best lessons, and it feels like it applies here too. Melissa, absolutely. Absolutely. We don't have to do anything. It's going to happen. Karma catches up with everybody eventually. Staying in my own lane serves me well. Absolutely, Prairie. Absolutely. And that's what I tried to raise my kids too, that natural consequences happen. It's just a reality. And you could even be compassionate towards somebody when those natural consequences are happening. You can say, I'm sorry you're experiencing that. Or I'm sorry that has happened to you. Without actually um, without actually partaking in any of it or enabling the person or anything. It's one thing to be compassionate when that stuff's going on. I mean, it's awful. Natural consequences really suck. I'm just going to really, Jackie, I'm just saying that the time has come to stop drinking the Kateraid because it's gotten ridiculous, some of the stuff people have said and done. We just need to let the law work out in its fine ways. I want to say it was Shakespeare, but don't quote me on this, who said the law grinds exceedingly fine. And I can't remember the rest of it, but basically that it takes time. It just is not quick. It never has been. It's hard to have compassion for idiots. Absolutely. I don't always either. But it's actually a mental health situation. She doesn't have the self-awareness of her situation. No, she does not have a self-awareness, and she never has. She didn't have it back in Pathos when she was complaining about all the men against her, when she was complaining about how she wasn't getting the warm, fuzzy strokes from her editor. And like I said before, We were a prickly and competitive crew in the non-religious sector. There were no warm, fuzzy, wiggly nothing being handed out to anybody there. And to expect that was pretty silly. But because I am kind of a steady person that doesn't get too upset about things, when she would say those things to me, it would just be, oh dear, I'm sorry you're feeling that way, because it wouldn't do any good. I'm sure her family, not Todd, but others, sees she has issues. Ah, hey, Pearl. The thing is with the issues, family members may not even see it, even like parents, because they're still just too emotionally close to the situation, particularly when we're grown up. My mother to this day still tells me, Suzanne, you have to go back to school and become a lawyer. You'd be a fantastic lawyer. And she's been telling me that since I was like 5 years old. I'm like, Mom, are you high? I'd be a terrible lawyer. I know that about myself. I'm well enough to know she is seriously a nutbag, but I'm thinking that poking her and saying, hey, she's a nutbag is unhelpful at this point. If she loses in anything, it is her own fault. Absolutely, Gingeroo. I mean, we are now at this point yet again. And I'm actually starting to feel at least a little compassion for her because I understand that things aren't right for her. Todd can enable her all day long, and he certainly has been. Have you noticed I've stopped calling him Toad? I'm calling him by his proper name now. I don't think there is making any sense of her at this point. I think that what's going on is mental. I think it's cruel to keep poking her every single day. Same, Kim. I feel so sorry for that poor child, because can you imagine what it's like living in that household? And then last night there was bad weather in that part of the world. There was tornado warnings and things. And someone popped up this morning in the anti-KJ community and was like, they couldn't believe that everybody was poking fun of Katie in the basement hiding from a tornado because she was doing the same thing. And again, that's not something we need to be poking any kind of fun at. It's just stupid. It is what it is, unfortunately, yes. But I don't think that we need to add to that now. I mean, now if she does something super crazy, we're all going to comment on it. I mean, that's just the way of the world. No need to be mean or shaming, exactly. And even we need to knock off with the slip and chinny kind of comments too. She's admitted that she has a chin implant and has slipped. Let's all move on. I mean, I would hate to have hard when people do that. And a lot of times it's men that do that to you. And I'm just kind of over that. Over it, over and over. Yes. So we need to be a little more compassionate. We need to not feed the monster, the attention monster, because she's definitely got that going on too. So we don't give her the attention. We only comment when it's really bad, it's coming out. And all of this inter squad drama stuff going on is just so silly. And oh my goodness. So I made a passive aggressive tweet the other day where I said, somebody had said, I'm unsubbing to her because blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, which one of your sock puppets are you going to use to do that? Because this person is somebody that's known for having piles of sock puppets and starting trouble in the community. And I'm just done. I'm done with that part of the community. I'm done with people starting trouble. I'm stepping away from all that. I'm blocking people when they do that to me because I just ain't nobody got time for that. And life is too short. Yes, that's always bothered me. The hair comments too. As someone who has lost most of their hair from a medical condition a few years ago, these jokes hurt more than just Katie. I know that, Melissa. That's why I have not said much about the hair, because I've been there, done that. I've had chemotherapy for my asthma, of all things, my mast cell. And at one point, from here down, I lost every hair on my entire body. Okay. And I lost half the hair on my head. I've been blessed with thick hair. And it's no picnic. It's no picnic. And people going, ha ha, why do you not have eyebrows? Chemotherapy. So there are reasons, and we don't know. Maybe she has something medical going on. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons why she could be having thin hair and things. Both of my daughters have really thin hair, and I don't know where that came from because I'm super thick. But I would not poke fun at either one of them for that. That's not their fault. It's just how it is. So point out the behavior when she goes off the rails. Everything else is just, we should probably just put that on a shelf and say, no, we're not going there anymore at all because it's just gotten stupid. So the hair, everything else. I don't think she has a mental illness. I believe she's very smart. However, she pushes her focus on manipulation and getting herself ahead by hurting others. Gingeroo, that lack of compassion tells me that she's not completely normal. I'm just going to say that. Normal human beings have compassion for things. I've never seen her have compassion for anybody. I know people who make jokes about her pulling it out herself, but that's also a medical condition. So that's not great. Exactly, Melissa. Exactly. I used to bite my nails. I go through times where I don't. I don't have bitten nails right now. Biting nails, picking at stuff. I've always done that stuff and I work on it. Kim, I believe that too, but I'm not in love with my own diagnosis to suffer because I'm not a professional. I'm just to throw that out there. That's just my dime store analysis. Do they even have dime stores anymore? I don't know. So long story short, yeah, so I got a 10 trillion things today. My computer died for like 12 hours. I had a very hard time getting online. I had to buy another one of these. This is a portable nebulizer, a battery driven one. I've already laid out a ton of money on this stupid trip and I haven't even gone yet. Everything from ordering crap like this that I can't get in Costa Rica to ordering what new glasses I think I'll need for the year and just things like that. So between that, my ongoing infections, bladder infection, bowel infection, and they've run all these tests on me and I can't figure out why this is happening. And I've been, in and out of the hospital with different things and different tests since late February. I just don't have any patience for this any longer. Once I hit that weekend where I had 104 fever and my heart started to go into all sorts of, I started having all kinds of heart problems, and I stopped being able to pull oxygen out of the air just from having a high fever. I and see, I said, I think I came about as close to death that was not asthmatic that I ever had before. And it's kind of made me think about some things. You really want to waste all your time on this crap? I know I don't. I'm getting ready to go do all the unpleasant shit I don't like doing today. But guess what? I'm an adult. I'm going to adult. I'm not going to spend the day worried about Katie Joy. Now I'll have my cell phone in my pocket and I'm sure it will bing anytime anyone puts a comment up or on Twitter or whatever. And I may pull that out and look at it some, but I'm trying my damnedest to spend less and less time on here. Less and less time because it's just gotten where it's not fun anymore. At least the KJ aspect of it, which is why I'm trying not to do videos about her either. I'm trying to explain about religions and do the occasional Costa Rica thing. I still have to sort my thoughts so I can do about buying a car here in Costa Rica because that was an experience yesterday too, going in and out of dealerships and new car dealerships. We're not talking the used car dealerships at all, because things are very different here as far as that goes. And I was really put at a disadvantage for that because I used to sell cars. I know how to get the bargain. Let's put it that way. I have enough insider information. Here I'm flying blind, and they're having the same kinds of shortages of cars here that they're having in the States. Example, yesterday at the Toyota dealership, said, well, what about that model? That's a year's wait. How about this one? That one's 6 months wait. How about this one? 1 month wait. So I got to have a car in a week. I can't be waiting around for a Toyota. So it is what it is. But it's different, and I'm fighting from a disadvantage without any kind of insider information. I learned a couple things that I'm going to pass along on one of my Costa Rica videos because it's very different. The whole idea and structure of buying a used car here is buyer beware. And there's no way to double check like there is in the States. And there's no warranty and no nothing if you buy a used car here unless you buy it from a dealership. Then you might get your 1 month warranty. So, okay, you guys, I think I've said just about everything there is to say on KJ. Does anybody have any questions, no matter how weird, about anything? Because I'm opening the floor. I don't want to talk about KJ anymore. She's just dull. She's dull. She's boring. It's boring picking on her looks. It's boring beating each other up over stupidity. just, I'm just done. I'm just done. And regretful for having picked on her for her appearance at any time. It's easy to get pulled into mob mentality. I'm going to say that. Be careful of that happening to you in your life and different things because you can end up doing some really horrible damage. Hey, how are you doing in Norway? I've been over cave for a long time. Same here, Bliss. I am. Have you watched Welcome to what? Well, I did once. I watched one episode. Cindy Kunzman and I were talking about it, and right after it started the first season, we both watched one episode and came pretty much to the same conclusion. I just wanted to put my hands around the necks of the parents and squeeze them. And I don't like anything that makes me that angry. I don't like the show. I think that what the parents are doing is harmful to the young adults in that family. Just look at some of the things that have happened. We could rent a car or hire somebody to take you to the airport. Yes, and they have shuttles here. It's just when I come back, I'm going to have 9 suitcases, and I'm not looking forward to hopping on a bus, a cab, getting anybody to pick me up with 9 suitcases. It's just obsessively weird, I know, but you have to understand I'm buying everything I need for the year from there because I don't know when I'm going back. No one's looks are fair game. If suffering criticism would change or fix her, it would have already been done so. Live and let live. I agree. I think also, Prairie, I think that's why we're seeing all the makeup changes with her. We're seeing the filters. We're seeing all of that because she feels so unsure of herself and everybody is piling on that she tries to make it perfect. I don't think there is perfect. Hey, Sienna son. It only gets worse as the episodes go on. Melissa, I can't even imagine. I can't make myself watch that. Yes, I keep watching though. This season is very different. I watch because I like the older kids have left and have thrived. Jackie, one of the daughter-in-law, the first daughter-in-law, I can't think of her name right now. Hey, Tina. Hey, I've just been telling everybody we need to stop poking the mentally ill badger with a sharp spoon. We just need to leave her alone and let karma do what karma does rather than fighting with everybody. Olivia has had her own problems with Katie Joy. Katie Joy tried to suck up to her in some groups that I'm on with Olivia, and it didn't go well. Olivia figured out very quickly that somebody wanted to use her and just blocked her. She blocked her. We kicked Katie out of the groups. Is what happened. So that's really the only thing that I have had to do with anybody from Plathville, because like I said, watching the show the first time, it was just horrific. Those parents are a hot mess. What a sad life she must have to carry that kind of anger. Danielle, yeah, Jackie, it didn't go very well. It didn't go well at all for Katie there, and she had also been saying, Olivia's my best friend. You know how she does when she hooks up with any celebrity, slight or major. It becomes they're my best friend. So it was interesting this week. I will say this, watching about Todd Chrisley's tax trial and his daughter that was supposedly Lindsay was best friends, BBFs, testified, and pretty much she didn't mention Katie by name, but she pretty much threw her under the bus and turned what Katie had said into a giant lie. I can't say I was unhappy with that because The truth is a pretty awesome thing. And speaking of the truth, I'm looking outside at all the weeds I'm getting ready to have to pull and cut, and I'm going to have to take out the machete. I've got the laundry room to clean. It's gross, but I can't let the plumber in there until I've got it at least not the hot mess it is right now. Let's just put it that way. I got some window boxes. Um, so many different things, and I hate thinking about it. Is she going to dive into the Chrisley snacks? She does a really good job, I think, and she really goes into detail. I'm just too ADD. I'm always running all over the place. It's my artistic mind, I think, and can't keep to one subject. I like Olivia Mariah. Most of the kids, but the parents, yeah, the parents are crazy, and I just can't watch it for that reason. I don't do well with that. I just knew too many of these people in my old church that acted like that, and I just can't put up with that anymore. I'm too old. Like I said, too old and been through too much to put up with much of that crap. So I'm going to get my move on finally and get a few things done and think about our choices from yesterday and whether there was a car for us. Now, we have some codas to the car story. The guy that was the preacher that gave Jim all the crap and said that and hung up on him and then lied about it has now come forward and admitted and apologized to him. So that's good. It just took him 2 weeks, and I have to laugh because he's riding around on a moped. His moped died. So it's kind of like, okay, your moped died. So are you trying to get us to give you rides again? What's the deal here? So Jim is Mr. Nice guy who smiling and believes everybody. I'm always like, yeah, what's the angle here? I'm just always been one of those people. Suspicious. I guess it happens when life treats you unfair. You're raised in an unfair situation. You tend to grow up with a touch of cynicalness and suspicion. So everybody have a great day. I'm sorry if you have to do the kind of adulting chores I have to do today that I absolutely hate. But hopefully everybody will have a good time today and just avoid all this drama. It doesn't serve any purpose. Okay, you guys, love you. Have a great day.